G'day everyone, Simon here from SPP Productivity. Welcome to another tips video. I thought we'd do something a little different today, not only because of time this week, it's been a super busy week, but also it's the Australia Day long weekend here in Sydney. It is stinking hot right now. It's about 40 degrees and it's well into the evening now. Daylight saving, so it's nice and light, but it is stinking hot. So if I start getting sweat dripping off me, that is why. But there's another reason why I wanted to do this one completely live, no scripts, straight off into a location shot. And the reason I wanted to do this is because it's another really important part of productivity that I want to talk to you guys about. And it's about getting out of your usual environment, you know. So we're out of the studio today, we're outside, because sometimes just resetting where you are can make a massive difference, right? So I get really distracted at work, I get really distracted at home as well, even when there's no one there in my home office. But sometimes just refreshing the mind by just getting out, going to a cafe, and just going out into the open, somewhere where it's nice and fresh air, can often just give you a burst of creative energy that can really, really help you get some stuff done. So if you do need to clear your mind and get some stuff done, especially with a weekly review, which I won't talk about now, but we'll talk about in a later video, I'll teach you about weekly reviews. They're awesome to do away from any usual place you do, like an office or home or anything like that. So we'll talk about that more later. However, today we're going to be talking about what we can do with our email and how we can help make email a little bit easier for people, because it is something that people are terrified about, and rightly so. Now, in the old days with our grandparents and stuff like that, they never used to have email. So they would go to work, they'd get all the input from work, then they would come home, they would have nothing to worry about until they go back to work, when they'd be given their next file of work, do this, do that, whatever. Whereas nowadays, email just comes from absolutely everywhere and everyone gets it. So my daughter's 2.5 years old, right? We went and had a look at the school that hopefully we're going to enroll her in down the road here, and like, primary school children are getting all their assignments given to them by email. Can you believe it? Primary school students, even trades nowadays, that pride themselves on the fact that they're in the field, they're doing, manual work and all that sort of stuff. All their timesheets, all their job cards, everything now are done via email. And the volume is just huge. So when I was doing my double roll, which you can learn about in the other videos down there, there's one about my story of where this all came about. And I was doing a double roll. It's getting 600 emails a day. Like that's out of control, right? And not all of those things are things that you actually have to do something about. A lot of them are just waste of time. But in between all those emails, there's little nuggets of stuff that you have to do that are so important. So this is how you manage it. This is an absolute fail-safe system of how to manage things. Now, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to archive some things. Okay, so we're going to archive some things, and to do that, you need to decide in your head how long is an amount of time in your life that you reckon after that point in time people won't care anymore. It's too late. The email's gone. Don't need to respond anymore. For me, that's 2 months. Right, so after 2 months, I reckon if I haven't got back to someone, it doesn't matter. Now, I'm a big believer in never getting rid of anything, right? So you won't lose anything by using my methods, but I want them out of sight, out of mind, because it's all about clearing the head and not having anything on your mind, so your mind is clear to work properly. Now, I've got another video, if you haven't seen it yet, about never forgetting anything. If you have a look, I'll put a link in the description. That's where I teach you about getting things out of your head into a trusted place, and that is where this is going to become valuable. Now, I want you to archive, make like a folder, let's call it whatever you want, maybe SPP archive or whatever you want to call it, the date maybe. Take all those emails from that date that you decided, so for me it's 2 months, select them all, put them in that folder. It's just going to hold them there, they're not going anywhere. And at another time, you're going to be able to come back and go through those. Now, it's only the most recent emails, so you might be left with 40 emails to work with. Now you've got a much less daunting task ahead of you, So, and let's be fair, you have so many emails, it doesn't really matter anyway, yeah, about those 2 month ones, because you weren't getting through them anyway, otherwise you wouldn't have so many in your inbox, let's be honest. So, what I want you to do is, once you've then archived those, you're going to create 4 folders. And 4 folders only, right? And they're going to be called, I think they're called labels in Gmail. Most programs are still folders. We're going to call them archive, one called reference, one called waiting for, and one called action or to do, whichever word means the most to you. Okay, so the 4 folders. Now, what you're going to do is when you open your email, I want you to not see email as doing time. I want you to see email as a time for processing and working out what you have to do. Now, that's going to help you get to that elusive inbox 0 a lot quicker, because what we're going to do is you'll open it. Let's say we've got 10 emails to deal with. So you're going to go check what's in your emails to see if there's any fires you need to put out. You open that email inbox and there is basically 10 emails in there, right? In those 10 emails, you then first go through and find the ones that need to be deleted. So delete, 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 delete. It's probably going to be half of them, right? Get rid of them. Now, there's going to be things in there that you go, I really want to keep that because it could be important. And you want to know where it is. It's not just in your big archive folder. So that's going to go into reference. So that might be, you know, oh, here's a new phone list for work. The phone numbers have changed. Here's the list to be able to reference, you know, who's who and where people are. Put that into your reference folder. Then you know that sort of stuff's going to be in there. Okay. Now that's your reference one. That's going to get rid of a load of stuff as well. The next one we're going to look at is going to be the archive one. So that's anything that, you know, you don't necessarily want to delete, but it's really got no value, but you're like, I just don't want to delete that yet. Put it in archive. It's out of the way. Or if it's done, you've already done that in the archive, right? Now the next thing is going to be waiting for. Now what this one is, you'll be surprised how many of these you have. So this is if, say you CC'd in something, and it's something you're obviously waiting for someone else to complete, but it's important to you to know where it's at. So let's say you're CC'd in something and it's an important project and you know you need to keep an eye on that. That'll go into that folder. Now you can do that a couple of ways. We've got flyers now, I tell you, I hate flyers. See, I decided to do an outdoor shot. This is done on the iPhone. I've got the lapel mic, but it's still got the phone. It's a flyer. Anyway, so waiting for. So it's going to be, yeah, ones that are important that you need to know. So let's say that you getting something fixed. Yeah, you're getting something fixed and you send an email to the supplier saying, hey, this is broken. I need to send it back. What do I do? Once you've sent that email, put it in the waiting for one. And then, you know, every couple of days or whenever you want to, just scan the waiting for one and it will just remind you, oh, I need to get back to that person, or I need to follow up with that person. It is really hot, man. So that's what the waiting for is. Now there's another way, if you're wanting to CC and stuff like that, you can actually put yourself in the blind CC and actually send it to the person. Then it will come back to you by blind CCing yourself. It'll come back into your inbox and then you can push it across the waiting for, right? So now you've got a few things archived, you've got a few things in the reference folder, and you've also got a few things now in your waiting for folder. You still haven't done any work yet, but you've just pushed them across in the folders so they're out of sight, out of mind. Fresh thinking, yeah? Now, the next one is going to be the to-do folder, an action folder, whatever you call it. When you're looking through there and you get to, oh, that's a bill I've got to pay, that's something I've got to do. Don't do it right now, not just yet. I know I talked about in the other video the 2-minute rule. We're just learning this. So eventually, yes, a 2-minute one you do straight away. But for now, watch that video in the description to see what I'm talking about. But for now, I just want you to learn to just be able to get through 10, 20 emails, bang, 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 and have them in the right folders. So then when you go back to do some work, sweat. So when you go back to do some work, really, you schedule a bit of time. I'm now going to go do some work out of my emails. You're going to go into that inbox folder. That's the action folder, whatever you called it. And that's where all the ones you have to work on are. Now, say there's 5 or 6 in there. Do you know how quick you're going to be able to get through them when you're just going, done, 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 and when you've completed them, into your archive. And then just keep doing it that way. So you open it up the next day or the next time you open it up. Delete, 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 delete. They're crap, they're spam. Next one, these ones I want to keep. Archive, 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 archive. These are things that I have to remember, put it into reference, and on you go like that. That one I'm waiting for someone else to do, into waiting for, and that one is something that I have to do a little bit later, but I don't have the bandwidth to do it right now, into action. Now by doing that, they're off your mind. Like I've said in my other videos, that if it's off your mind, your brain's not thinking about it, and then you've got all this space to be able to be creative and not stress about missing things. Because when you've got 1,000 emails in your inbox and you know it, it repels you, and you know that when you open that inbox, you just don't know if there's anything in there that's so important that you've missed, and you just don't have the time to keep going through 1,000 emails. And when you finally get to that, do you know that every email program has a inbox 0 page. So once you hit 0, it'll give you a message or balloons will go up or something like that. I bet half of you have never seen that. Actually, I bet most of you have never seen it. Do you know if your program even has one? Because even when you first opened the email account for the first time, it starts with a welcome message, right? So you already had an email in there, so you've never seen it. But you can literally, I have my inbox at 0 every single day, and I get 300 to 400 emails a day, and I do it just by doing that. There is a process that I use that I'm going to teach you guys over the coming weeks where, you know, you can actually jump in and actually do different blocks of time, but that's for another video. So right for now, manage your email in those simple ways. You're going to take the bulk amount that you think is going to be a date that people aren't going to worry anymore. For me, 2 months, archive. Everything else, you're just going to go into archive, reference, waiting for, and to do. And then when you go back in to do work during the day, just work out of that to-do folder, and then you will keep that inbox 0 all the time. It's going to keep you a lot less stressed and a lot more productive. So I hope you enjoyed that video. I'm going to now go and have a shower because I'm stinking hot. But happy Australia Day to all my Australian friends, and to everyone else and everyone around the world that is watching this video. I hope you have a productive and energetic week, and we look forward to giving you our next awesome tip next week on SPP Productivity TV. See you later.